What's up, sports fans, and welcome to the Sports Opinions Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Alex Cuesta, and with me today is someone that, again, I had Kevin Malice on 2 weeks ago, and he was someone you thought would be real easy to get a hold of because the Manchester connection. This person is significantly closer to me, and you would think that I'd be able to get her on in 2 seconds flat, but she's extremely busy, and I'm extremely proud of everything she does, and she is the assistant managing editor for weekends over at CNN. That is my sister, Christina Kline. What's up, Christina?
Hello.
How are you?
How you doing? I'm doing great. Excited to finally be able to get on and talk to you.
Yeah, it seems like it took forever, but you are here. And first, we need to talk about your New York Giants, because I know one of the teams that you follow specifically, you're a football person, if anything, in sports. What the hell? They got the win, but they're awful.
We won. I'm focusing on that.
You're just going to stick to the positives, not the negatives.
I'm going to stick to the positives. I was really happy that we won last night, and that's it. That's all I got. I don't want to be negative about my team.
Okay, so this one is a special podcast because doing something different. And just like, I say all the time, anyone can come on Sports Opinions. It's named that for a reason. You don't have to be a sports aficionado, reporter, anything like that. It can be anyone. And my sister is a parent of my two beautiful, amazing nephews, and they're both getting to that age. The older one is at the age of playing sports, and the younger one is just about to enter into it. And we want to talk about parenting in sports because I feel like it's an important topic to touch upon, because there's probably a lot of parents like you who are about to go through it for the first time and are feeling pretty damn timid about it. So what was your first experience when you brought your oldest over to play soccer? And, I know he didn't want to leave your side, but when eventually he did, what was that feeling for you specifically as a parent?
Yeah. So, I'll go back. It was never a question for me whether or not my kids were going to engage in sports. I'm going to go out and just say I'm not ever going to push my kids to do something that they don't want to do, just like I'll never block them from doing something that they really do want to do that maybe I have reservations about. And, we might talk about that a little later. But, just specifically now, growing up in our household, you and I were very involved. We were, and our brother, we were all of us in sports at the same time. Our parents were constantly driving us around from place to place to place, which like now as a parent,
crazy.
And yeah, exactly. It just seems like, we're just getting into it. We're just getting started. And already it's like, okay, well, who's here at this time and who's there at that time. And it just seems like it's a very crazy thing. And thinking about how many years our parents did that for us, they're just, they're saints to say the least. So getting my oldest son into soccer was the first sport that he was actually of age to play. And we found a program that he was able to play at 2.5, maybe it was. And yeah, you're right. He didn't leave my side. It was like I had to play soccer with him, which is hilarious because I've never played soccer. I'm not coordinated. And, it was, he would literally jump into my arms and I would kick the ball or like do the drills. And the soccer coach who, they're coaching 2-year-olds. They see tantrums. They see, this exact thing where the kids don't want to like get down from their mother's arms. And the coach would always just look at me and like she would just look at me and my husband and she would say, this is totally fine. This is natural. He's going to eventually watch. He will come down and he will go out on his own. And believe it or not, our parents, who did come to the very last soccer match, like the very last soccer practice of the season, all of a sudden our kid was bending it like Beckham. He was out there running on his own, doing his thing. And Bill and I, we're just like, okay, what the fuck? I mean, like, what happened? And he's like, all of a sudden he's a soccer star. Like, he's just running up and down the field, kicking the ball, scoring goals. And all this time, the past 8 weeks, he's not done that at all. So I mean, now I think about it and I laugh because, you know, he's going into his like third season playing soccer and he's totally on his own. He goes nuts. And, you know, now we started with baseball. So that was a first this year. Well, his T-ball, which, you know, I don't know. I said I would never watch a T-ball game sober, but I totally did this year.
I don't know how.
I
How did
promise.
you do it?
It's a good question. I don't really know.
Anybody but the kids playing, including the coaches.
Well, I mean, like they're cute. They're really cute. They run the wrong way. You know,
Maybe when it's your kid, it's
like
easier to watch.
maybe I don't know. It was my kid and like a bunch of like his cousins. So it was like, you know, it was like a family affair every practice and every game. You know, like
So I have to bring
my husband is coach. Go for
You're
it.
talking about the craziness, and I just remember the craziest nights for us was Wednesday nights when we each had CCD, but we also had, you had cheerleading, I had football, and I have no idea how our mom, Adele, literally grabbed us, and even dad would get us from football. I'm sweaty and disgusting. You're sweaty and disgusting. We'd get Burger King and ingest it in like 3.2 seconds flat, right down the road from CCD, and then we run in there. I had to smell like a foot. I have no idea. Nothing about that
Yeah.
could have been good for anyone involved there.
I mean, I smelled great. So you're on your own. And the Burger King was always, I mean, come on, you're a kid and you're like, all I want to do is eat fast food all the time. So that was great. Not saying that that's like a suggested method of like nutrition, but
that
in
wouldn't
those
fly now. There's a lot of people that would probably sit there and look at our mother and go, "What is?"
who would judge the shit out of her.
Between mom
Absolutely.
and dad loved McDonald's. We got McDonald's. We would just stop there to grab a soda and fries, and he'd be like, "Oh, what do you want? What do you want?" We'd have like 3 dinners in a day because of my dad.
Yeah, he'd be like, whatever. He was cool. He was totally cool. We had Pizza Hut every weekend.
Well, he also
like
burned
20 years.
He burned Lipton soup, so I can't blame the guy.
Yeah, the man doesn't cook. So the Burger King in between all of the stuff. I mean, come on, you're a busy parent. And both of our parents worked 40 hours a week, right? So like that's a whole other part of this, right? Like you're not like our mother was not a stay-at-home mother, you know, like my father wasn't a stay-at-home father. Like they both worked their 40 hours a week, came home, did what they needed to do to grab the kids and meet them at practice or take them to practice, and then all the other stuff like CCD. And actually, I think the year that you're talking about, that was the year that I had to do 2 hours of classes that year for CCD. So it was just like Wednesday night. We didn't walk in the door until 9 o'clock at night. So it was either, you know, grab Burger King in between all the other shit, or, you know, eat at 10 o'clock at night, which was not going to fly. But anyway, yeah, I'm like just in the beginning of that, you know. I so far Billy's been a one sport a season kid, you know, or it's worked out where, you know, soccer isn't as demanding, so it's just like 45-minute practice a week, and whereas like, you know, T-ball might have been 3 plus the game on the weekend. You know, it was just we're not like right there yet, but, you know, looking at that with 2 boys, I'm just thinking, wow, what the hell am I going to do? What are we going to do? It's going to be interesting. And that'll be something that we, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Definitely. And so here's a question for you, because this is going to be something that a lot of parents are also going to tackle when they eventually get to where you are, or they have tackled and they can relate to what you're going to say next. When you came home or you were watching your son play and there's something he couldn't do, and he came home and he was just really sad about it. He couldn't, you know, he maybe couldn't squash the bug as good as the kid next to him to stop the ball. Because I know that was the thing they told him, to squash the bug to stop the ball. How did you handle that, the failures that he had while playing sports and the teachable moments to bring them into life? And also when he was super successful, how to make that a teachable moment, but also teach him, okay, you were good at this. Now we also need to work at that type of deal.
Yeah, I mean, well, so start with the easy stuff, right? Like when they do something well and they're super proud of themselves, you know, I think the important thing is to celebrate that and say, yeah, that goal was awesome, or you really, really squashed the bug, or you really, like, that was an amazing kick. And like, you know, just really build them up. And when they themselves are down, it's our job to build them up by, you know, teaching them to practice by practicing with them. Like Billy is going to be going into coach pitch, and he's got to work on that. So it's going to be, me trying to throw a ball, which, will be funny. I'll get that on video for you. But, and just like, and like helping him, engaging in play with him, because it's not just practice for him and making him better, but you're also building that bond as a parent with your child in sport, in play, in teaching, in those moments where you can be really present for them and show them that, it's about perseverance. It's about practice. It's about, just really, really trying your best and not giving up, right? We don't ever want our kids to give up on anything. And I think that's where sports, that's sort of the foundation for that, for life, is in youth sport or just any sort of youth play where, there's an obstacle and they need to overcome it.
That's one thing mom and dad ingrained in us, and I'm very happy for that, because it definitely helped make me, you, David, all the people we are, is if you start it, you got to finish it. You can hate it a whole time, but you got to give it a shot. You need to finish what you start. And that was always a good thing for me, because it just taught me in life, and it's probably something you're going to pass on to your kids, definitely, that you're not always going to like what you do. But if you start it, you got to finish it. You never got to do it again, but you at least have to tough it out and have some thick skin and get through it.
Yeah, exactly. Because, and that was, a part of that is just like, you might not like it right now, but you might like it. You might start to like it. Don't give up just because something seems difficult. It's not about throwing in the towel. It's about trying until, either something clicks or it doesn't. And then you're right. You never have to do it again, but you have to try.
Without a doubt. So I'm excited for you when Billy, Christopher, when they get older, and if they're both still playing sports, me being a sports guy, I hope they are, but if not, that's fine. No issues if they don't. But if they are, I can't wait for you to be coming home from a game, and you've been watching whatever sport it was now for 6, 7, 8, 9 years, learning it all. You knew a bunch of sports through me, and watching the game gets over in the car, and you turn around and you go, you did this really well, but you could have done this. And they turn around and go, Mom, you don't know anything. You don't know anything about that. Leave me alone. You're not my coach. I want to be a fly on the wall to see you handle that.
We'll see how that we'll see how we handle that. I don't know. I feel like, mommy kind of did that to us, right?
I did it to Dad all the time in football, all the time. And I feel awful now because Dad knew fundamentals. He wasn't a super guy when it came to like knowing like the X's and O's, but he knew fundamentals, and he was right 95% of the time, and I knew it. I was just being a dick because I was pissed because I played football for Manchester and we sucked every year. So I was always pissed off at the end of games.
Yeah, but and that's fine. And that's growing up. Like, you become a teenager and you kind of become a dick. Like, that's just the nature of growing up, right? So, no comment. No comment. I don't know. Like, because it depends, right? At this age right now, like, the only thing I have to do with the boys is build them up. You know what I mean? It's only about being positive, and it's not really about critiquing, because they're not like they're building skills, So we'll get there eventually. Maybe it'll be one of those car rides where I'm like, hey, like, great kick, but what was up with that, that block you missed? You know what I mean? Or something. And that's I probably just mixed two sports in there.
It's what's going to be, if they play football, what is going to be something that I know won't stand for, and I wouldn't stand for either, is you have a decent grasp on football. You've watched it forever. Like I said, you follow the Giants. You have a decent grasp on football. And more women are really engaging in football, and they're true fans, and they understand the game. And that moment too, if they play football, and it's going to happen, because I feel like, it's just the natural inclination between boys that you kind of have to break. But you're going to say something, especially like that. Like, you had a great catch. You ran the ball well, but you missed this block. And they're going to turn around and go, Mom, you're a girl. You don't know football, because not many women play football. That moment. Something that
I don't know about that.
It's teachable.
I kind of take issue with that because I think, Alex, maybe when we were growing up, it was kind of like, it was like maybe weird that mommy watched football more than dad did, right? I mean, like that was like, it was weird to us, but like, I don't know. I think we're kind of beyond that moment, right? Like, I would like to think we're beyond that moment where if I decide to talk to my sons about football and about plays and about, just sort of the fundamentals of things, that they wouldn't turn around to me and say that because they would already know that we're kind of beyond pink jersey days, right? Like it's not like that anymore, right? I mean, am I naive? I don't know. I don't think that it's like that.
I just think it's more of the fact that you rarely see any girls playing the game. And as you grow up, you're playing around all boys, all boys, all boys. And as much as women are watching it, like, I was fortunate enough to coach when I was coaching Pop Warner with David. There was a girl that played, and she was unbelievably talented. And, she held her own and gained a boatload of respect from every guy there. But it's just, you don't see that. They're diamonds in the rough. And I
don't know. I think my kids are going to grow up seeing a female ref at the NFL. They're going to grow up seeing a female coach. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know.
Well,
I think that
is on her way.
Right. I mean,
the next few years, she should get serious consideration at least.
But I'm just saying, I just think that the dynamic is shifting. You know what I mean? Like it's totally, or it is already shifted. Oh no, was that? Do you hear music?
No, I don't hear music. What
Hello?
Are you playing?
Oh, you didn't hear that? No, I was looking up an article and all of a sudden the video started playing. So my bad. Sorry.
Since I've known her, she has never stopped reading.
No, right. Don't stop reading.
So we're going to jump in. Because you talked about, in the future talking about things. And one of the things that definitely needs to start getting discussed as Billy gets older, as Christopher gets older, especially Billy if he continues with sports, is especially soccer. And if he does eventually play football, there's going to be a very physical nature to both of those sports. And injuries, especially head injuries, which are the major hot topic, are something that is really prevalent in this day. And there's a lot of people that are saying, my kid's not playing football because I don't want my kid to get CTE. Now, at a young level, they don't hit hard enough to do that really type of damage. And if they're getting coached properly, that damage will be negated anyway. But what are your opinions on trying to shelter your kids from those injuries? Are you just going to let them go play and, teach them wrong from right and how to hit, how to do this, how to take it, how to be tough in that sense?
Well, I mean, I said it earlier, like I'm not going to ever stop my kids from doing something that they really want to do. So if Billy comes up to me one day and says, hey mom, I really want to play football. Or if Beefy comes up to me and says, hey mom, I really want to play football.
For the reference, Beefy is my nephew, and it is not a derogatory term. It is a term of endearment. And he is a very skinny, non-beefy child, but it is a term of endearment. And do not take that to any offense at all, anyone out there.
I'm sorry. Nobody knows my second son's real first name because I don't call him by that. By his given name.
Brother introduces him as Beefy.
He was introducing himself as Beefy at daycare. Okay? That made me feel really.
Real names.
I mean, like Mom of the Year here. My son is introducing himself as Beefy, and the teacher was like, I don't know who that is. What is he saying? so yeah, 100. And back to injuries. So if either of them ever come up to me and say, hey, I want to play football, I'm not going to say no. Am I going to push them toward the sport? Probably not. I'll be honest. I mean, and I don't, I'm not – okay, like I understand CTE and studies saying earlier engagement in football and tackle or any contact sports, like, it shows higher levels, and then there are other studies that say, oh, it's complete BS. Why chance it? Right. I'm sort of on the and also it's not even just CTE. I mean, think about all the other physical injuries and just like the future, just what you feel like waking up in the morning as a result of all of that, all of those years of just like hard hits. I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to feel like if they decide that they want to play football. I'm going to let them do it. I might not really like it. I might not push them toward the sport, but I'm still kind of undecided about it. I'm on the fence. I'll be honest.
And that's fair because I mean, even probably being my sister, I was always the smallest guy in the field. How many times did you just see me get rocked? And I got it back up. But you also saw me go through how many injuries in my life, so I understand.
Right. I mean, and like you can get injuries from running, right?
But
You
no,
can
yeah,
get
none of mine were
injuries. I
from
mean, and
football.
soccer. I mean, yeah, and soccer also has the issues with, just like the amounts of concussions that you see in the sport. It's just, my hope is that they just want to play baseball or something.
I mean,
But
Alex,
I'm
we definitely will be happy if they play football.
I know. And I would be too. It's just, it's an interesting yeah, I'm giving a really shitty answer because I mean, to be honest, it's
You're
like,
giving an honest answer, which
it's
is fine.
scary. It's scary. It's scary. It's scary thinking about the, CTE and just, concussions in general. Like it's just what it does to your brain, what it does to your body, like everything. And I want my kids to be involved in sports. If they decide that they don't want to be involved in sports, that's totally fine. But it's something to consider, it's something to think about, and it's something to watch. It's you got to know your limits. You got to know when not to push. X amount of concussions. Okay, it's time to hang up the cleats. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you got to be able to sort of assess every situation, and know when it's just sort of time to end it. But I don't know if that's a good answer either.
It kind of
I
leads into
honestly
this
don't know.
question because I like the way you answered that, but it's also, you've talked about, whatever your kid wants to play is fine. Now, it's really a curious topic because what if that sport is boxing? What if that sport is MMA? And those
Oh,
are, we talk about head injuries, we talk about gruesome injuries and the worst ones, those two are
yeah.
easily
Well,
dangerous sports.
those seem like older sports, right? Like after they've flown from my nest, if they decide that they want to get their face punched in, I'm not going to be happy about it.
Well,
But I
now
mean,
that
it would no
MMA is so
longer be up to
popular and
me.
wrestlers really jump into MMA quickly, whereas I think at the high school
But
level,
that's
you start
wrestling.
to see MMA go quick.
Yeah, that's wrestling though. I mean, like if they wanted to start out as wrestlers, that's totally fine. And like go wrestle, do it, but like MMA at that age, I don't know. I mean, let's do American like Ninja Warrior. Don't they do like junior Ninja Warrior camps?
Okay, but maybe
I'm
not
cool
just
with that.
only MMA,
Go
but
learn
like
how to
other
like
forms of martial arts because they do light sparring and it's not full contact, but there is that chance that they get kicked in the head. And a lot of kids do the Muay Thai, they do the Taekwondo, they do jujitsu, and it's discipline building at a young age, but it is dangerous, and there is the injuries that come with it. And I always like everyone likes to bridge football into a major head injury sport when there is so many other sports that are just not protected at all and they are full force, as they get to a certain age, the sparring is real.
yeah, I don't know. Well, so like that's a good question. I actually never really thought about karate or, putting them in any sort of like martial arts classes. So they classes. This is my
I guess
ignorance of the sport
mom tried with me.
because
Mom tried with me and the
none of us
instructor said
did
I
it.
wasn't disciplined enough.
Yeah, you got kicked out.
And I thought it was to build discipline. And the instructor was like, nah, this kid, and he has something wrong with him. Get him out of here.
It's like, yeah, get this kid out of here. He needs to just run. That's what this kid needs to do. And that's like, I mean, obviously that's what you did. So
Yes. Yeah. Just
maybe that was a good lesson for you. Like
yeah.
it's just this kid needs endurance sport. Get
Thanks.
him out of here. Get him out of my gym. Goodbye.
So now we got to jump into this because this is something that is definitely uncomfortable. And I think it was a little less uncomfortable for our parents because our parents were very close with a lot of the coaches. Um, our uncle was involved in Pop Warner football, coming down as a high school coach. So when I jumped into Pop Warner, we knew a lot of the coaches, a lot of the cheerleading coaches between Mom and Titi, they knew them. So us getting reprimanded by them when we were doing something wrong, I feel like was a little more free reign because they knew them on a personal level. But as you put your kids into sports and say you have that stranger, I know you probably haven't had to deal with it yet because Bill coaches a lot and he's young and he's not really getting reprimanded. It's mostly bringing up, but how do you kind of see yourself responding when you're watching your kid really look bummed out, but in a way that they needed it because they did do something wrong. It is the coach's job to reprimand them. You know, how are you seeing yourself handling that as a parent on the sideline?
I don't know. I mean, like, for one, I think that we probably have the same situation now that we did growing up. I mean, I know all the coaches, and I feel like I'm going to know all the coaches as both of my children grow up and go through, you know, whatever sport that they decide to go through. You know, because we kind of, it's the same. It's like everybody's like, we're friends and we know each other and or family, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like I kind of created that same atmosphere that we had growing up, which is amazing and wonderful.
Yeah, it's great.
But I don't know. I'm not one of those parents that's like, you know, gonna blame everybody else before I blame my kid. I kind of gonna kick this old school and be like, you know, this is your fault. You know, you're the kid. You're kind of guilty till proven innocent, right? So if the coach is gonna I'm sorry, but that's because that's how we grew up, right? Yeah. And that's how I see it, you know? So if the coach is going to coach my kid, that's their job. They volunteer to do that. You know what I mean? Like, there are lines, but I think the lines are pretty obvious. You know, if a coach crosses a line, I'm pretty sure you know when that is.
And that's really different even from when I grew up. It really is, because in football, coaches could do a lot more to us. And as I got older, they could do less and less. And it was kind of weird where I feel like the coaches were harder on me when I was younger. And then as a lot more PC culture, for lack of a better term, was really coming about as I got older, it was a lot softer. And it was more of a not embarrassing you in front of people, but taking you one-on-one and ripping you type of deal.
Right. Well, I mean, there's that, right? So there's the element of like, how are they going to reprimand you in front of a group versus pulling you aside? You know, there are times and there's places for everything, right? You know, it's not going to be about like any sort of abusive, you know, they're not going to beat my kids because that would be the end of their lives. But like, you know, it's like they're not going to curse at my child either, right? I mean, because that's not productive at all. You know, and also that's like at age level appropriate, right? So like, we know the way coaches are with teenagers.
I mean, as Mighty Mites, I said kick ass when I was like,
I know
12.
I know, but it's not about, like, I mean, that's different. It's, you know, I don't know. It seems to me like, you know, the coach is the coach for a reason, whether they're volunteer or they're paid. And the way they coach my child, if they do cross a line, I feel like it will be very clear when the line is crossed. Like, I will feel it that, you know, this was like what your actions are wrong. And you can tell based on your kid. Like, if your kid's just upset because, you know, they did something wrong at practice and the coach called them out on it, that's very different from like your kid feeling like, I don't know, like anxiety about going to practice or like depressed or scared of right? So like, you shouldn't, like, I don't think that anybody should fear their coach, right? Like, you shouldn't feel, you know, like you don't want to go to practice because you don't want to see this person of authority, right? Does that make sense? Like,
you should respect them.
You should respect them, you know, and maybe sometimes they're going to piss you off, but ultimately you're going to show up to practice the next day and you're going to work for this person because you know that they are the coach and what they say goes. And, you know, however they choose to, you know, scold you or teach you. I mean, there's a productive way to do everything. And, you know, that's just sort of from a parent standpoint. It's not going to be my job to get in there and say, hey, don't yell at my kid. Right. It's going to be my job to, you know, support. You kind of walk a fine line. You support both. You say like, well, did you do did you do this wrong? Yes. Okay. Well, then how do you do this better? You know what I mean? Like, or it's like, there's a way to do it. And I don't know when I'll actually get to that level. You know, maybe that's much later on when they're at a very, very competitive level. Because right now the coaches it's not like, they're all there for fun. It's fun, and it's teachable. Like they're teaching, but the kids don't really do anything wrong, even when they're picking a dandelion in the middle of the field, right? Like that's not wrong. That's not bad. It's just they're four. Like it's
Yeah, they're
it's what
young.
they're gonna do.
Exactly. So, final question for you, and I think it's a super important one, is why, overall, why have you chosen to allow your kids to play sports? What do you think they're going to ultimately get out of playing sports?
A lot. I think they're gonna get a lot. I think they're gonna learn a lot of lessons, a lot of just basic life lessons, that you don't ever give up on anything, and that goes from whether you're playing a professional sport or whether you're out there in the workforce, to practice, right? Because practice makes perfect is something that you can repeat whether you're in sports or whether you're out in the professional world doing whatever it is that you do. It's going to teach you about just discipline and hard work and loss. You need to learn what failure feels like, because you're never going to succeed 100% of the time.
Which I feel like we don't
And
have enough in this society right now, is understanding loss and how to take a loss.
you have to learn how to lose just as
Yeah.
much as you have to learn how to win. It's easy to win. It's much harder to lose. So you
You
need to
learn
learn.
so much more from losing than you do from winning. That I completely believe in that statement.
Yeah, totally. Because you can assess your situation and you can pick yourself up and you can try again next time, and you might not win next time. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to just keep. It's a learning experience. A lot of this is like very cliche, but it feels like and aside from those lessons, it's about like bonding and friendship and community, and you're a lot of the people that you play sports with are friends, your friends for life. And it's like, whether you're going from elementary play to high school play to even like if you play a sport in college, whether it's for, a D1 school or if it's like an intramural sport, you know what I mean? Like you kind of get involved and it just always keeps you active. So, for me, getting into a sport at a young age, any sport is just laying the basis for a lot of life lessons that you just keep with you as you go on. And whether you become a pro or you are just out there in the workforce, it's a lot of it lays the groundwork for a lot of the person you become. So it's important to me. But whether they continue sports or they don't, they're going to learn this whether they're head of the football team or they are I shouldn't say just, sorry, did not just say just, or they're in a club. So, of like any kind. It's the same. So it's just about involvement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, Christina, I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this podcast, especially any young kids that listen and want to be parents eventually, or any current parents that are sitting there scratching their head going, I have an infant sitting next to me. What am I going to do when they want to play X? What are and how am I going to go about it? I think your wisdom is definitely going to help. And honestly, this is something that I'm hoping this podcast for years down the road that I would love to revisit in 5 years and revisit in 10 years with you. And something we can continue to look and see how you have expanded your view or even closed it up a little in terms of sports. I'd be really interested.
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting topic, and I think you can really you could talk a lot about just youth sports and parenting in general. Like it's not limited to a short conversation. You can have this conversation for hours and hours and hours on end. And I'm not a pro at this by any means. It's like this is just sort of my world, my view, the way I see it as a parent of very, very young children. And it's actually kind of crazy. I'm like looking forward to all of the fun times ahead, but at the same time, I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this when the two of them are, in 8 different things and like, I'm trying to balance all of everything. So yeah, it'll be fun. Stay tuned.
Without a doubt. All right, so that's going to wrap us up here. Christina, I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks. I appreciate being here.
Without a doubt.
asking me to be on here, actually, I should say.
Yes. So, all right. So that's my sister, Christina Kline. She is the assistant managing editor for weekends at CNN. Yes, CNN, that big, giant news corporation. I'm super proud of my sister. She continues to accomplish anything. And I think in 10 years, we'll be saying CEO of CNN, but that's just me being boisterous.
Oh, yeah. You are nuts. I don't think so. You're a crazy person.
Again, thank you, Christina, for coming on. Christina, where can people find you on social media?
I am on Twitter at Cuesta Kline, and that's at CUESTA KLINE.
No spaces, no underscores. Again, and I am your host, Alex Cuesta. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at @A_Cuesta30. Find Sports Opinions on Twitter at SportsOpinion30, on Instagram at SportsOpinions30. Visit our Facebook page, and I'm not even going to go through where you can hear us, because you can hear us on anywhere you can find a podcast. You can even just Google search Sports Opinions Podcast, find us, and we're out there. Follow us, like us, tell your friends, come on the show, because I want to hear your sports opinions. So again, my amazing sister, I love you very much. Thank you for coming on. Everyone, have a good one. So long.